Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a suspect is in custody after a deadly incident in Victoria. What we know about the incident. Plus today is Jeremy Vasquez's 22nd birthday, but his family is still searching for answers 5 years after he was last seen. And the Guadalupe River in Victoria County reaches flood stage when the water is expected to recede.
We had additional thunder showers around the area today. At this hour, everything is decreasing. I think for the next 2 days, we'll see a lot fewer showers because the dust is coming back. We'll be talking about that coming up.
And the Crossroads Sports Center hosts the second preseason tournament earlier today. We'll hear from two of the star volleyball players at today's event later on in sport.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Curry. Don Brubaker is off tonight. New tonight at 10 and a developing story. Victoria police are investigating a homicide after a call came in from a home on Laurel Avenue just off of Main Street. Officers responded around 7:30 this evening and say a suspect is now in custody. Investigators believe this was an isolated incident and say there is no threat to the public. The case remains under investigation. The city of Victoria has issued a citywide boil water notice after routine testing found low chlorine levels in the water supply. The notice is being issued out of caution. This is not related to recent flooding. Officials say a mix of higher temperatures and lower water use led to a dip in the chlorine levels. In the meantime, water for drinking, cooking, and ice making should be brought to a vigorous rolling boil, boiled for at least 2 minutes and then cooled before consumption. City residents should brush teeth using boiled water or bottled water. FM 2437 in Lavaca County is shut down for now after a pipeline fire damaged the roadway. The fire, which has since been contained, broke out near the road and caused enough damage that TxDOT is stepping in to assess the situation. The closure stretches from Wallace Road on the Speaks side to County Road 19 near Sheridan. Officials say it will be closed at least through midday tomorrow, possibly longer, so drivers should plan for detours if you're heading that way. Well, it has been a summer of extremes, from record heat to devastating flash floods. We're taking a closer look at what's fueling these sudden, dangerous weather events from Texas to North Carolina to New Mexico. Communities have been hit hard in a matter of hours. So why is this happening more often, and what role is our changing climate playing?
So many unimaginable flash flood events have unfolded across the country recently, from the Texas Hill Country, where a summer's worth of rain fell from the sky in a matter of hours, to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where up to 10 inches of rain fell, equating to roughly a 1 in 1,000 year rainfall event. And then there's Ruidoso, New Mexico, where record river levels prompted flash flood emergencies across the region. So why are we seeing this increase in flash flood events across the country? Well, it's thanks in part to our atmosphere being juiced up by this Bermuda high, driving in deep tropical moisture from the south. You're looking at precipitable water. Think of this as the amount of fuel in your car's gas tank. The more fuel you have, the further you can drive. The more precipitable water that the atmosphere has to work with, the more ability it has to produce these heavy rainfall events. And when it falls on a parched, very dry, drought-stricken landscape, just like what's unfolded here recently across the Texas Hill Country in New Mexico, that's a recipe for disaster. We call that weather whiplash, going from flood to drought or drought to flood. So we have had, just since the 4th of July, over 225 reports of flash flooding across 20 separate states. That really puts it into context. This is, by the way, the wettest time of the year. The atmosphere typically, climatologically speaking, has the most moisture to work with between the months of April to September. So we anticipate these flash flooding events to occur. But of course, we've got a warming world to work with. And we have seen a marked increase in not only the intensity, but also the frequency of these heavy rain events, something we can expect to continue into the future. Back to you.
Well, the Guadalupe River is officially at flood stage near Bloomington, cresting this afternoon, actually a little bit lower than expected. This is Skyview video over the Guadalupe River in Riverside Park earlier today. A flood warning for southern Victoria County is set to expire Friday morning when floodwaters are expected to start receding. So let's go to Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez for a first look at our forecast. And Mac, the good news is we are expecting to see a few I guess, fewer rain showers than what we've been seeing earlier this week.
Yes, today was obviously a big, busy day, but tomorrow we should be seeing some dust roll into the atmosphere, and that's going to shut down the rain chance. Now, there may be additional showers, but it shouldn't be as wild as today. We, of course, had 1 to 2 inches of rain with a sea breeze coming in up to the north of us. Believe it or not, in the hill country, they got another deluge of rain. So, yeah, it's been unusually wet, and sometimes I remember summers when it was actually dry. We'll be talking about the dry Saharan dust coming up in just a few minutes. Shauna, back to you.
All right, not just the rain, but deadly flooding across New Mexico and Texas. More than 170 people still missing in Texas as the death toll rises to at least 120. And officials facing mounting questions ahead of President Trump's visit to the region on Friday. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has more.
Ferocious flooding inundating Ruidiso, New Mexico after a deadly wall of water blasted through the streets. At least 3 people killed after the Rio Ruidiso River rose a record 20 feet in 30 minutes.
Oh no!
This home ripped from the foundation. A young soldier and father of 2 stationed at Fort Bliss, Texas, on vacation with his family at a campground when they were swept away. He and his wife survived, but their 4-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son did not.
We had people in the water. People trapped in houses with water coming into them.
This horror coming after the devastating floods more than 500 miles away in Texas. According to records obtained by ABC News, just 2 days before the devastating floods claimed at least 27 lives at Camp Mystic, the Texas Department of State Health Services signed off on the youth camp's emergency plans. An inspection report from July 2nd shows state inspectors noted the camp had emergency plans in case of a disaster and that staff and volunteers were briefed on what to do. For the first time, a point of view from a flood survivor. You can see the trees and brush swept away.
It was just terrifying. Like, there were roofs, there were cars, there were boats, trailers, all these things just rushing down the river. And I grabbed hold of that next spot, and the next thing I saw coming for me was a house. And I don't even know how it all happened.
And anger and frustration boiling over the Kerr County's warning systems.
This is lives. This is people's. This is families. This is heartbreaking.
And Governor Abbott calling for a special legislative session on July 21st to talk about improving early warning systems in wake of the flooding. But of course, there are search and rescue crews that are still going to be working around the clock to recover the victims. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Kerrville, Texas.
The South Texas Strutters dance team is leading a donation drive to support families affected by the recent flooding in the Texas Hill Country. To read the full article, visit crossroadstoday.com. FEMA's response to the deadly flooding in Texas was delayed, and multiple sources say Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's new cost control rules are to blame. Noem now requires her personal sign-off on any contract or grant over $100,000, a threshold FEMA officials call pennies in disaster response. The agency faced delays getting search and rescue teams on the ground, and sources say Texas waited days for aerial imagery approval. A FEMA call center also struggled with long wait times as requests for extra staff sat unapproved. Homeland Security officials defend the response as President Trump is continuing to push to shift more disaster responsibilities to the states. Well, Jeremy Vasquez has been missing from Victoria for 5 years, and today is his 22nd birthday. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley spoke with his mother, Angie Vasquez, to gain insight about his birthday and has more.
We all love you, puppy. We miss you so much.
Weighing 7 pounds and 11 ounces on July 9, 2003, would be a little boy named Jeremy Vasquez. For the last 5 years, his family hasn't been able to celebrate his birthday with him. Jeremy's mother, Angie Vasquez, says she remembers a vivid dream she had about him. She said she heard him say, "Mama, I'm here."
If he's out there, we still love him and miss him so much. And there's not a day that goes by that we don't think about him, that I don't think about him, that I don't miss him.
Angie remembers his first birthday in Freeport and invited her neighbor and 10 kids to celebrate with him. Angie says she's not giving up hope and looking forward towards the day she sees her son.
Our children we love them unconditionally, as mothers.
On the day Jeremy went missing, his stepmom said he wasn't himself and was arguing with his boyfriend. Angie encourages anyone looking for their missing child to keep searching and remain hopeful. Ray Mosley, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
Here are some of the top headlines in the Cuero Record this week. Out for her morning walk, a retired teacher turns back toward her house and is struck by a pickup truck. Plus, the DeWitt County 4-H livestock judging team returns from their competition in Scotland as double champions. To read these stories and more, visit DeWittCountyToday.com. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell to receive alerts. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10. If you're heading to the airport soon, get ready for a big shift. What's going away after nearly 2 decades? Plus, a promising AI system built by Elon Musk is facing criticism. What's behind the recent controversy? Today is the first full day U.S. air travelers without TSA pre-check can wear shoes through airport security. Evaluation of the policy dates back to the Biden administration. Now Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says officials believe it is safe to end the rule. She points to new Real ID requirements and says screening technology has evolved since 2001. That's when a passenger tried to ignite explosives in his shoes on a flight to Miami. Noem says officials also want to increase airport efficiency before the U.S. hosts the World Cup and Olympics. So here's a look at tonight's viewer poll. Does ending the airport shoe rule make you feel safer and more efficient, less secure, or no real difference? 55% of you say no real difference, and that stayed pretty consistent all afternoon and evening among our voters. But if you have not voted, we do want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. And thanks to everyone who has shared their thoughts with us. The CEO of social media platform X is stepping down after just over 2 years on the job. Her departure comes a day after the company's Grok AI chatbot began pushing anti-Semitic tropes. CNN media correspondent Hadass Gold has the latest on the controversy.
Safe cities and sensible.
Elon Musk vowed to retrain his AI system known as Grok. After growing angry with its answers, he said we're, quote, parroting legacy media.
The overarching goal for the X platform is to be the best source of truth.
Those changes appear to have prompted Grok to use some anti-Semitic tropes. The chatbot going so far as praising Adolf Hitler, claiming Hitler could spot the pattern of anti-white hate and handle it decisively. Grok also claiming Jews, who are just 2% of the U.S. population, hold disproportionate roles in places like media, finance, and politics. Is that control or merit, it questioned. When CNN asked Grok its sources for some of these posts, it said 4chan, a favorite forum for extremists known for its hateful conduct.
Had the right guardrails been in place and had adequate time been left for testing, I think these kinds of problems would have surfaced and would have been fixed. The fact that that did not happen is alarming.
Musk himself has repeatedly said he favors total free speech, even if it's hateful.
I think at the end of the day, free speech wins in that if somebody says something that's false, especially on our platform, you can then reply to it with the correction.
But extremists were celebrating the changes. The founder of the far-right forum Gab posting, "Incredible things are happening."
We'll take a break now.
Musk himself has been accused in the past of trafficking in anti-Semitism, which he has denied.
You know, obviously I'm against anti-Semitism. I'm against really anything that is, that promotes hate and conflict.
After the public outcry, XAI deleted some of Grok's posts, issuing this statement: "We are aware of recent posts made by Grok and are actively working to remove the inappropriate ones. Since being made aware of the content, XAI has taken action to ban hate speech before Grok posts on X."
This is something that has a massive reach globally and serves to normalize the types of hatred and anti-Semitism that we have been warning about, because those hatreds, we know, animate people to terrible things on the ground.
Musk himself saying on X, Grok was too compliant to user prompts, too eager to please and be manipulated, essentially. That is being addressed.
President Trump's pick to lead the CDC is one step closer to confirmation. A Senate committee voted 12-11 to advance Dr. Susan Menarez to a full Senate vote, with all Republicans on the panel backing her. Menarez is a lifelong immunologist and has promised to restore trust in the agency during her confirmation hearing. She also defended Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy's controversial decision to disband a federal vaccine panel, replacing it with members who have expressed skepticism about long-approved immunizations. Some lawmakers worry about the signal that sends, especially as measles cases hit a decades high in the U.S. One Democrat who voted no said he hopes Menarez will put public health first. Well, in a world first, doctors created a personalized treatment for a baby with a rare and deadly genetic condition, changing the course of his life. With more, here's ABC's Melissa Adon.
When baby KJ was diagnosed with a rare and life-threatening genetic disease, doctors and researchers in Pennsylvania raced to develop a tailored treatment just for him, using a first-of-its-kind technology called CRISPR gene editing, which acts like molecular scissors to cut and fix damaged genes. They created a therapy within 6 months of his birth. After 3 rounds of treatment, KJ is doing well and his future looks bright. The strategy behind this breakthrough is to reuse parts of the treatment and customize it to match each patient's specific mutation. Doctors hope this method will speed up personalized gene therapies for other rare conditions, especially for patients with few options. With this Medical Minute, I'm Melissa Adon.
Here are some of the top headlines in the Port Lavaca wave. A new store in Port Lavaca is introducing residents to a wider range of Asian flavors and food experiences. Plus, the Senior Center raises awareness for senior heat dangers. To read these stories and more, go to portlavacawave.com.
Well, good evening, everybody. We're at 74 degrees. Feels fairly nice out there with all that cooler air that came down from above with the thunder showers. We managed to get up to 89 today before all the cloud cover and the rain. We did get 2,800s out at the airport. I know you probably got more than that in your shoes. Next few days, we're probably going to see less rain because the dust is coming back in. We'll talk about that after this. Well, another afternoon of stormy weather, but I think things will be a little different for the next couple of days, but only for 2 days, and I'll try to explain. Tonight, the skies have cleared and all that stormy weather has moved. Now, you notice that for us, it's a sea breeze effect. In other words, the land heats up, the cooler air comes in from the ocean. That gets lifted up and we get the thunderstorms. But to the north of us, we're getting a northwest flow. And you can see these are going up and these are coming down, and there for a while in places where they don't need rain, they were getting more rain. I'll explain. High pressure is to the southwest. That is what's giving us that northwest flow. And what I'm saying is that not for us, but for maybe central Texas, there could be some stormy weather tomorrow right about there in the central part of the state because of the sea breeze and that northwest wind colliding. Now, on the lower reaches of the Guadalupe River, away from Sea Drift and Tybola and those areas, the river is above its banks, but it will be decreasing over the next couple of days. In the last few hours, or the last 6 hours, we had some tremendous rainfall right about here. Now, here's I-10, Kerrville's right about there. There's Junction. So this is above the flooded area of the Guadalupe, but boy, you get scared when you just start seeing big thunderstorms like that. So we do have that flood warning there, and the flood warnings there have finally decreased as the rain has finally ended. So I wanted to show you that our peak for the Guadalupe River in the city of Victoria was yesterday. So today it was 17 feet yesterday. Today it's down to 11, and it will continue a slow rise or drop into the weekend when it gets back into its regular banks. So that's okay. Here's the rainfall totals as of today, 1 to 2 solid inches over the region. The thing is, we cannot take much more rainfall. So whenever it gets heavy like that, you start to worry about flooding problems. But with 2 days of drying, this is hopefully going to help us out in the next couple of days. What are we talking about? Well, there it is. Believe it or not, there's a big blob of dusty air off the coast, and we go through Wednesday and Thursday. It'll be right on top of us. By Friday, it'll start to move north, and then by Saturday, it does actually push away. So it's going to temporarily shut down our rain chance, which is kind of okay with us for now. I mean, normally we're begging for rain. This time we're going, okay, a little bit, pump the brakes on that. Here is your Wednesday night. The skies will be clear tonight, and tomorrow afternoon you can see how we do get a sea breeze, but it looks like most of the coast will not be as active as it was today. You can see how the cloud deck moves north here, but south up there with that activity. So let's take a look at your day planner for tomorrow. In Port Lavaca, you're going to see more sunshine, and that'll get you up to about 92. In Cuero, you're going to see more sunshine, and your chances are fairly low for getting any kind of rain tomorrow. So with a little luck, you'll get to be outdoors. The thing is, everything's kind of muddy because the Saharan dust will be with us for at least 2 days. Over the weekend, as the dust blows away, well, we start seeing more of those afternoon showers popping up. Yes, it's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have this QR code. If you scan that, you can put Crossroads Today on your phone, and we can send you any kind of bulletin or weather advisory that is necessary, that you'll get it on your phone as well. Well, this is the week, folks. We're going to give it away. The big giant generator that can power your entire house, brought to you by Aztec Ford and Goliad, is going to be up, and this is what you need when the power goes out. It's quick and easy to enter. Just go to crossroadstoday.com, click the menu, hit entertainment, then contest, and when you see that graphic, Storm Ready Power, enter your name and address, and hopefully you'll be the lucky winner. We're going to draw the winner's name on Friday, July the 11th. That's it for weather. We'll toss it over to Maxwell with sports.
Yeah, Mac, one-star athlete there from Cuero Track Select Club looks to break more records there, regionals. We'll tell you more about this star athlete coming up in sports. The Cuero Track Select Club athletes ahead of their regionals out there in College Station. Well, we're to highlight just one athlete in particular, though, for Cuero Track Select, and Bradley Hill. He looks to break more personal records there in last meet as he broke a PR in long jump, and also heard he broke PRs as well in the 100, 200, and 110-meter hurdles. So at long jump, he actually beat his record there. He had 19 feet. He moved it to 21 feet. So mentioning he competes there in the 100, 200, 110s. So being a part of this summer track club has helped him be ready for kind of that school track season for college in the near future.
I definitely got a lot faster. This program will, change you for the better. It will increase speed, increase quickness, power, everything really. It's really a big help for like school and everything. I really hope to take these accomplishments and take them to a higher point. For example, maybe college or maybe even more than higher than that.
Now, Hill will be joined with multiple other athletes there in regionals. You got throwers in Shamaya Harris and Peyton Escobedo, and also runners Riley Galindo, Dominic Perez, Charlie Belvin, and Tyden Marshall. So wish all of them luck and the rest for them going into regionals out in College Station. Now, over from Cuero Track Club to big preseason volleyball tournament include 8 playoff teams from Edna, Goliad, Industrial, Victoria West, El Campo, Victoria St. Joseph. At the end of the tournament, though, today we had the 3 Division I runner-ups out there in Goliad. They beat the 5A Division I champions out from Corpus Christi and Flower Bluff for the championship. And then Victoria St. Joseph, they beat Victoria West for 3rd place after the tournament. So after the words, I got a couple words from Goliad Junior Addison Yandry, then West Junior Kristen Kotek about how these tournaments will help them going into regular season play in 1 month.
Winning these games, we're getting to know each other. It's a new team. We're learning how to get in sync. That's kind of what our focus is this year, is getting in sync with each other, being comfortable. Are talking a lot more and working more as a team, because we did lose a few key players last season. But I feel like we can come back and go farther maybe this year if we can come all together as a team. And yeah.
Now, there'll be one more showcase volleyball tournament at the Sports Center. It'll be July 23rd, and that's going to be the regular season, because that's one more week to the regular season, which will start for all volleyball teams on August 11th. Now to travel softball, St. Joseph Lady Flyers ace pitcher there from last season, and Shane Meisers making noise out there in the circle out this summer. And Meisers officially was ranked there number 13th in the nation for pitching according to AGL stats, and these include having a 1.569 ERA and recording 109 strikeouts so far here over the summer. Meisers just came back there from Colorado, so he's trying to get a little bit of rest before the team travels out to Indiana in 2 weeks. And then finally, Victoria Generals, they swept their 2-game road series over the Gumbo Gators, and they got a big production tonight from Diego Diaz. He had 2 base hits and then 2 RBIs to help the Generals, and they're going to be back home tomorrow night there versus the Brazos Valley Bombers, and that will be at 7 p.m. And that's going to do it here in sports. Shauna, back to you.
Well, stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, residents in Portland turn parking into a fun sport. I don't know how you do that, but you'll find out coming up next.
You watch, I'll talk. Denzel Washington pops out of nowhere. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, well, I met him. I told him who I am. I start to get up again. He stops me again, and he goes, you kind of famous, aren't you? To which I reply, yeah. Yeah.
Dozens gather at a San Francisco botanical garden to see the rare blooming of the corpse flower. I hope they plugged their nose. This towering tropical plant is known for its strong odor, often compared to gym socks or rotting garbage. Yeah, I think I'd rather just watch it. Native to Indonesia's rainforest, the corpse flower is very rare, with about 300 left in the wild and fewer than 1,000, including those grown in gardens. But what makes it truly special is that it only blooms once every 7 to 10 years, making seeing it bloom a very rare and fascinating event. Again, I'll look at pictures. I would rather not smell it. Well, Michael Scott may have been the worst parallel parker on The Office, but in Portland, Oregon, residents turned it into a competition to find the best. Dozens of people gathered outside a local home to cheer as competitors were judged on their speed, their curb distance, and parking without today's convenient rear view cameras. The event went viral and caught the City Transportation Department's attention, which wants to help with next year's contest. Many participants say they joined because they think they're really good, which is rare for parallel parking. I was telling Max earlier, I have trouble just regular parking, so parallel parking.
Wouldn't even help.
They're the winner.
Oh, yeah.
Now
There's
that
the
I
winner.
could do.
Okay.
That kid is probably better than I am at parking, even though she's got a little.
I mean, yeah, no, same thing. Parallel parking.
It's tough.
It's just tough.
Well, some of those new fancy cars, you push a button and you just does it for you.
Well,
so, but who can afford those?
Right.
Anyway, the best one was that little car at the end. Folks, just want to remind everybody, of course, we're in tropical storm season, and all over town, certain companies have put out some of our hurricane guide here. We invite you to go pick one up at your favorite store. Now, here is our forecast. Tomorrow, I think we're going to see fewer showers. In fact, I'm going to say it's going to be mostly sunny as the dust starts rolling into the atmosphere, and that should shut down most of that rain chance. By the weekend, it comes back as we continue with a very moist atmosphere here in the Crossroads.
All right. Well, this may not be the boy that you want to have parallel park your car. He got trapped inside of a claw machine, and it was all caught on camera. This happened in Ohio. You can see the young boy climb in. There was obviously a toy in there that he really, really wanted, but luckily security and police officers were able to open the machine and get him out safely.
Did he get the toy?
I don't know.